Okay.
We're about to wipe up some spit here. Hey y'all, I am Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy and welcome to episode 3 of the Knitting Tipsy vlog. I've been questioning a lot whether some of these videos that I'm putting out are vlogs or podcasts and whether there's a difference or not. I feel like I get a lot of conflicting information and maybe it's just a preference thing. Vlog to me is like a video blog, like where you create thoughts, like a blog post, but it's video style. And I feel like that's what I was calling all of these are vlogs. Like my Show Us Your Knits, they're all vlogs. But then one of my friends was telling me, no, like a podcast is more where you're talking about like, you know, a knitting podcast, you show your whips and you show your finished objects and you're talking about those things. But then somebody else told me, yeah, but then you also talk about other stuff too. I just don't know. I don't know if this is a vlog or a podcast. I tend to call them all vlogs, but in the Knitting Tipsy vlog, you get some mental health chats, you get some book reviews. We do talk about yarn, I promise. And I usually share a bit about my life, things like that. So yeah, I don't know if it's a vlog or a podcast. You choose. Let me know in the comments if you have an opinion. I will just let you know, I am actually not drinking alcohol today. Shocking. Hell must have frozen over. No, I haven't been feeling well. I feel pretty good, but there's still some sniffles and snuffles. So if you hear me occasionally doing that or I sound a little stuffy, that's why. So I am actually drinking the mocktail from today, which we'll get to in a little bit, but it is a tea-based drink and it is so yummy. So that's what I'm going to be sipping on with y'all. Something I have noticed I keep forgetting to do in these vlogs is tell y'all what I'm wearing. So let's start with that, shall we? This is, I'm going to go ahead and tilt this a little bit. This is my Palm Your Knits top. You know, I'm going to put in a picture. Let me do that real quick. This is the Palm Your Knits top. It is my most purchased pattern, and I think the design that I see the most of online, which makes me so happy. I designed this back in, I want to say 2021, but I could be wrong. I'll correct myself here if I'm not. But I designed this in 2021. It is made with the Little Wolf Knits yarn. I love Brie. This colorway that's at the top and on the sleeves. I think is it Miami Beach? Might be called Miami Beach. I gave her a photo of this like gorgeous sunset and it just had all of these amazing colors. And I love what she created based off of it with the pinks and the blues, and it's just awesome. There was intended, when I was first designing this, there was going to be an element on the front that I decided not to do. So I feel like if I could go back in time, I might reverse these colors since this color is so awesome. But yeah, I ended up doing Sandy Cheeks is the name of the main color for this, but technically it was supposed to be like the contrast color. One of these days I might get around to adding that little detail to the Palm Your Knits. We'll see. But yes, the Palm Your Knits, you can snag this pattern on Ravelry and on my website. It is size inclusive. I love seeing photos of just so many different beautiful bodies wearing it. It makes me really happy that so many people love this design. I also have to show y'all these fantastic earrings. It says, "My tummy hurts and I'm mad at the government." Accurate. I saw these, one of my friends had reshared the post, but these are created by Fallen Pine Studios. Let me double check. Yes, Fallen Pine Studio. I love her acrylic earrings. I also bought a set of her moon phases. It's these really pretty like pink moon phase earrings that drop down like dangles. It's really cool. You should check her out. Okay. Now that we got some of that stuff out of the way, let's just get into some mental health and life stuff. Oh, life. When I finished talking to you guys at the end of March, I was finally like feeling better. I was coming out of my funk. I was feeling energetic again. I was ready to create all of these things. And then life does what life does. We had like a really good start to April. My husband and I, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary. If you are interested in seeing our vlog about that, I will link it below. But our little Rudy dude, our sweet boy, I'm going to try to get through this without crying. We'll see. He's had some behavior changes for a while now. Like, I feel like it slowly crept up on us. And then it got to a point where, like, this just isn't the dog that we have known and loved for 13 years. We still love him to pieces, don't get me wrong, but just so many things about his personality were changing. And he does have a heart condition that we've known about and we've been stressing a little bit over. But since January, he started having some issues. There was a cough that wouldn't go away, which really scared us. He started stumbling when he walks. Sometimes it seems like his limbs aren't obeying his brain. And he started, we always have said that he's a grumpy dog, but he really started to, he didn't want to be touched. He still sometimes allows pets, but he just does not want to be touched. He seems confused a lot. He's gotten really vocal. He cries I was terrified that he was in pain, and that was what I was so stressed out about. But he'll just cry, and there's not a lot because he doesn't accept being consoled. So it's been so heartbreaking not being able to help or to console him, at least. I want to hold him and comfort him, and he does not want that. So we did finally get some answers mid-April, and it is likely that he has a brain tumor or he has canine cognitive disorder. Our vet was very sweet. She has had dogs, her own personal pets, that have gone through this. So she was very kind about explaining it to us. Because he has the heart issues and everything else, there's really not a whole lot we can do. He's already on 6 different medications. So, like anything that they might be able to do, they can't because of the medications that are helping him currently. Even if we wanted to like do certain things because of his heart issues, it's just not worth it. He's going to be 14 in in August. So it's kind of, we're just gonna make him as comfortable and as happy as we can for as long as we can. And she suggested keeping a journal of good days and bad days, because we never want the bad days to outnumber the good. As horrible and heartbreaking as that feels like to have to make that decision, we do love him enough that we would do that. But luckily he is still in a place where he is having a lot more good days than bad. I'm going to take a sec. Hang on. Okay. So yeah, he's still having a lot more good days than bad. And we are just going to do our best to cherish the time we have left with him and to really just make him as happy as we can. I was all stressed about like his eating. He's gone on a hunger strike with his kibble. And so I started cooking for him, but now that's all he'll eat is home cooked meals. So I have been on all sorts of blogs and talked to the vet about like what's okay to give him. And now my dog eats home cooked meals and I'm okay with that. And he's very happy with it. So, fed is best, I guess, is the policy we're going with here. Honestly, it's as much as I wish this wasn't happening, it is also a relief to know what it is. Or, at least because I was worried he was in pain or there were all these things that I should be doing as his mama that I'm not and help I'm not getting him. And this is just what it is. So there is some relief. But yeah, it's pretty rough. We've had him since he was 1. Well, that's about what they think he was. We adopted him. We were failed fosters. Everybody told us, there's no way you're going to get it. We're like, no, we're going to foster. First dog we fostered. But he was meant to be ours. He is my soul dog. And yeah, I will never be ready for him to leave. But I also wouldn't ever, for anything in the world, give up what our lives that we've had together, even though I know there's so much pain ahead and so much heartbreak. I wouldn't give it up for the world. So anyways, the reason I tell you all that is kind of because I've been in this state of anticipatory grief for a while now, and it's hard. I'm very, very lucky, very blessed in the sense that not that many people I have loved have passed away. My great-grandma passed away a few years ago. That was hard. But as much as this, I hope many of you will understand what I mean. And those of you who don't, I hope won't take offense to it in some way. But losing a dog can sometimes be harder than losing a family member. Especially we treat this dog like he's our child. And having talked to my therapist, I feel very validated. He is. This is going to be very, very hard. I hesitate to say going to be like losing a child, but he's my baby. So, living day to day with this grief and this worry and hating the unknown and what's going to come, it's really taking a toll on me. Not only do I have anxiety and depression, but now dealing with this, it's been really hard. And if you remember all the way back to January, my word of the year is alignment. And alignment is about living in balance and finding the path that isn't too much or too little, and really making sure we're taking care of ourselves holistically. And what that is meaning for me is that I need to slow down. And not just slow down. I feel like I've said that lots of times, like, oh, I need to slow down. I do sometimes, but for a short period, and then I pick right back up. Because there is this idea that I think it's productivity guilt, that, you know, if you're not working, if you're not hustling, if you're not grinding, if you're not doing these things to try to contribute and create and make money and all of that, then you're being lazy or you're not being a productive member of society. So the idea that I'm going to choose to slow down for a considerable amount of time feels very scary, but it also, it feels like a weight coming off my body. Instead of, you know, worrying about my next design and the next new thing and all of this, I'm just kind of giving myself the grace to move at a much slower pace. It doesn't mean I'm not going to create and everything. Like, creating to me is an outlet, and it is rejuvenating, and it is part of my self-care and my mental health and my life. It's what brings me joy. But doing what I've done in the past, where I put all these deadlines on myself and where I take on projects that need to be done at a certain time, or I take on projects that aren't necessarily joyful projects, but like, I like them and I'm going to get them done for a specific monetary purpose, I'm going to let that go a little bit. I'm going to focus more on spending time with my Rudy and my husband and my family. I'm going to spend time doing the things I want to do, but maybe doing less of them. So I don't know about you, but I often gaslight myself about, oh, well, I can fit this in. Like, I'm not doing that much. Why am I so tired? I'm not doing that much. I should be able to take on more. I should be able to fit this in. But I was talking with a friend the other day, and then also to my therapist, and I actually said out loud, like, all of the things that I do just for one particular project. And it was like, oh, holy shit, like, that's a lot. That's one thing, but it has like 9 different components to it. So I'm doing a lot more than I think I'm doing. And by trying to add more onto my schedule anyways, it's not going to work. I feel like I might be talking in circles here, so I'm going to try to make this more succinct. So all of that to say that it is okay to choose to slow down and to eschew the hustle and the grind. I'm going to try not to let what other people might think about this, or what society might think about my worth because of this. I know my worth. and I'm going to choose to live more softly and more gently for the foreseeable future. So if you needed that permission too, if you have a lot going on in your life, I just wanted to let you know that it is also okay to slow down and to give yourself grace and to not need to go, to make. You know, if you don't want to climb the ladder at your job, the corporate ladder or the business, whatever ladder you have at your job, you don't have to. You don't have to do that gig. You don't have to do that next thing just because it might make you more money, or it might get you more clout, or it might, boost you in some way in your job or in society. You can choose not to if that feels best for you. So that's your permission slip from Dr. Chelsea today. And that's our mental health chat. Whew. All right. Crying with snot, never a good mix. Okay. All right, well, let's move on to our next section. I feel like which is a really good one for after this, and that's the cocks and mocks. All right, so I don't have the cocktail right here to show you, but you're gonna see it in a video in just a second. When I was thinking about the cocktails and mocktails for this month, I think that idea of like slowing down and taking things more gently combined with like spring and Beltane vibes. I'm really feeling the Beltane vibes lately. If you don't know what Beltane is, it's the 1st of May, May Day. It's one of the Sabbats on the Wheel of the Year. So thinking about all those things, I went with some tea-based drinks, specifically Earl Grey tea. The cocktail I have named the Serenity cocktail. I love a pun. This is a cocktail that you can make with either vodka or gin. Also, this I'll put in the video, but you kind of get a cocktail and 2 mocktails out of this, because if you just leave the alcohol out of the cocktail, it is delicious. I tried that this morning and it's so good. So just leave the alcohol out of the Serenity cocktail if you want it to be a mocktail, but also the designated mocktail is a London Fog, an iced London Fog. I fucking love a London Fog. It's maybe one of my favorite drinks to get at a coffee shop if I'm not gonna get like a coffee. There's just the lavender in it, and it just feels so comforting and happy. I like them hot, I like them cold. For spring, we're getting a cold one. So without further ado, I will go ahead and show you how to make those, and then we'll be back here. Gin, vodka. That's good. And I feel like the floralness of the gin really does pair well with that. And I love having the sprig of lavender. Get that smell. That's really good. Try it with vodka. I'm trying to hide from the light. That's nice too. This one, it's like it doesn't even taste like alcohol. That's a really nice summer sipper. I feel like with the lavender. Yeah, because you get that smell as it goes down. That's pretty good. I think for me, I actually really like the gin with it. I'm not a big gin drinker, although if you remember last month, that went really well. But I do like the gin. However, I think I prefer the vodka. I love y'all that I'm gonna drink a tea latte after 5 p.m. If I'm up all night, it's your fault. Cheers, y'all. Oh my God. It's so good. I love a London fog latte. It's just like happiness in a glass with the lavender. I honestly think the hint of lemon, I know there's a lot of people that are like lemon and cream should not both go into tea, but I think it's delicious. And this is just such a good spring summer pick-me-up, so. Pretty easy, right? Pretty easy and so delicious. Let me know if you make one of these, because I did not invent the London fog, and I'm sure there are tons of Earl Grey tea lattes out there, but I think these are particularly delicious and just so great for spring. So let me know how you like them. Ready for smut? Are we ready to talk smut? I have 2 books that I really think would be fun to talk about today. One of them is a reread. It is a book that I've had for several years, and I read it often. It's a comfort read for me. And the other one is a brand new one that I just finished like 2 days ago, and I was really excited to talk about it. But let's start with the reread. When people ask me for a smut book recommendation and they don't give me a lot of insight into what kind of smut they're looking for, there's so much smut. There's so much smut in the world. Like, so many questions need to be answered first. But one of the books that I often suggest is Stolen Air by Sophie Lark. Now, I suggest this book for a couple of reasons. It is, I think some people call it a dark romance, but I have read dark romance. This is not that dark. It's like a light dark romance. It is a mafia romance. It has enemies to lovers. There are lots of gothic fairy tale vibes. It very strongly plays into the Beauty and the Beast theme. Again, being contemporary, this is not like a romantic-y book, but it also has strong Hades and Persephone vibes too. Our main male character is the head of the Polish mafia, and our female main character is a ballerina, and she is the daughter of the Irish mafia. Obviously, these mafias, they don't get along. She is kidnapped and taken to, Miko is our main character's name, Mikolaj. She is taken to his haunted gothic castle, which is really just a mansion in Chicago, but it's like really dark and gloomy and mysterious, and the author does a great job of presenting this mansion in a very dark, ethereal way. One of the things I also love about the story, and I think it's what makes me reread it often, is the female main character. Her name is Nessa. She is very young, very innocent, very naive, but she is badass, but she's not badass in the way that I love for other female main characters. She doesn't kick ass and take names. She's not strong in body and strong of mind. I mean, she kind of is, but what I love, she is kind and compassionate, and those are her 2, like, biggest, most amazing character traits, and it's a lot of what makes our main character fall in love with her. And as somebody who often struggles to see myself in other characters, because I laugh all the time. I'm like, I would be one of the first to die in a zombie apocalypse. I would be one of the first to die in the Hunger Games. I would have a panic attack and just collapse on the spot. So I don't often see, like, some of these badass, if you are a Sarah J. Maas fan, like, I am not an Aelin. She's one of my all-time favorite female main characters, but I'm not an Aelin. I'm not a Bryce. I'm not these women that are out there, but I'm a little bit of Nessa. My strength comes from my compassion and my empathy and my kindness, I think. So, when you find a character that connects with you, you get into it. But that is a lot where our similarities end. She's very innocent and very naive. She's a ballerina. She's very, very tiny. She is good at languages, and I am also good at languages. So, there's that. But, the love story, it's a huge red flag. Oh my God. You have to go into this being able to suspend your reality. Because if a friend came up to you and they told you about this guy who kidnapped them and all that, you would be like, oh my God, this is Stockholm Syndrome. Like, there would be an intervention. This guy throws up so many red flags. Like, he does there is a change in him. Very, very Beauty and the Beast-esque. Like, there is this it's not magical, but like magical change that happens. And I remember the first time reading it, I hated him. Oh, I hated him. And then I'm like, why do I kind of like him? That's kind of how this story will progress. I mean, I don't think there's a single mafia romance where the main male character is a green flag. So if you like the genre, you just kind of know. You kind of know you would never date this guy in real life, but it's hot. It's hot. Anyways, yes, if you are looking for something that it's not Christmassy. I think one part of the story does end up taking place at Christmas, but like gothic, dark, Beauty and the Beast, mafia, feuding families. This might be the book for you. The spice is nice. The spice is very nice. You don't get a lot of it. There's like 4 scenes, but 2 of them are really short. So it's not the spiciest of books. It's a bit of a slow burn and then limited scenes. But for some reason, this book really sticks with me. So because I reread it, I thought I would give it to y'all as a recommendation if you are looking for something in that genre. The next book. Okay, I have to say, I really enjoyed this book. I really liked it. This book is called Synodic by Kristen Travis. Yes, I got that right. Kristen Travis. Now, what's funny is I decided to read this book based on a reel on Instagram. So saw this reel that a reader had created, read the description, was like, yeah, that sounds great. I'm in. Read the book. And then when I went to tag the author in the story, I was like, oh, holy shit. She's somebody that I already follow because of her reels that she makes with her husband. If you don't follow Kristen Travis on Instagram, or I think she also has a big TikTok, you really should. She and her husband just create these really sexy, awesome reels. And she's an author. This is her first book. So let me give you like the tropes for this book. We've got astral projection. I wrote them down in case so I don't forget. There is a magical world. So this is very much a romantasy. Very slow burn. The spice, also nice. Not a lot of it, but nice spice. There is some good mental health representation. Our main female character has anxiety. She has depression. There is a whole thing about where some of her symptoms are coming from, but it is nice to get some of that representation in there. Our main male character, he has those protector vibes. There is some touch her and die scenes, and holy shit, the main male character's name is Rowan. I feel like I'm jumping around a little here, but I have to say this. Some of the lines that he has were so beautiful and just heart, chest. Oh, it was really, I loved the love story. I loved his love for her. So basic premise of this book, as I keep talking about it without telling you, is that our main female character, Kira, lives in the real world, our contemporary modern life. She is struggling with these dreams that she's having where there's darkness, there's monsters, there's pain, and then suddenly there's a man. And without giving it away, because it's in the description of the book, it turns out our female main character is astral projecting or dream walking in another world that also exists. So much happens. The first chunk of the book has a lot of the back and forth where she's here, she's there, but it's gripping at certain parts. There are some trigger warnings for sexual assault. Certain scenes, both at the beginning and at the end, can be a little challenging. So please make sure that you read the trigger warnings and decide for yourself if this is something that you can read. But yes, there are some elements of like celestial magic, and we find out that there is something very special about Kira, and that this world that she's slowly becoming part of really needs her help. Our main male character, Rowan, he is her protector. He is dreamy. He also is like, he's the tough, grumpy guy with the tortured past. Definitely our hero, good guy vibes. He is not a walking red flag by any means. He actually has a ton of green flags. But we know things have happened in his past. You can feel it, and then much is revealed later as the book goes on. Now, like I said, thoroughly enjoyed this book. Really did. But I will say, I feel like, and this is her first book, I think it's wonderful, but I do feel like there were a lot of ideas that were introduced and then nothing else about them. I think there needed to be more world building. Like, we find out little tidbits of this magical world. Like, she mentions at one point elves or fae. I can't, and I'm like, oh, is that, but then I'm at the end of the book and I still don't understand what kind of world we're in. A lot takes place in one small village in the story, and you don't know anything else about the world outside of it. I also felt, and I felt this during reading, that some of the side characters were not given enough page time or enough development to really warrant some of the relationships that were said to have been built, or some of the things that happen later. You're kind of like, why? You barely know this person. And I know it was supposed to come off as kind of a found family situation, but I feel like those side characters are a little weak. I didn't feel like this was a story of found family. But it ends on a cliffhanger. This is going to be a duology. I could totally see like the fleshing out of this in book 2. There's so much that we know is like going to happen, but we know so little about, that I am very excited for book 2. I think it'll be great. If you think a celestial world and astral projection and a steamy romance sounds up your alley, I would give it a try, because I really enjoyed it right from the get-go. And I'm excited, like I said, for book 2. Now, I know I've been promising that smut book list for forever. It's coming along really well. I think it'll probably be out next week, and I tried so hard to get it in April. But remember, we are being slow. We are being kind. So if it doesn't come out till May, then I'm sorry, but it's still a freebie for my Ko-fi and my email subscribers. So I'll make sure to pop the link in the description. Basically, I'm going through my entire smut book reads that I've ever read. It's quite the process, but any of them that I feel are really good are going into a spreadsheet, and then I'm going to be creating like a recommendation per genre list. So that should be coming soon. Please give me some grace on when I get it out, because life has been crazy. So I'm pretty excited for this next part, our yarny section. I had other things planned, but I pivoted because I just felt very called. that might be a weird way to say. I just feel like this was the right thing to include. You know, talking about slowing down and life can be hard and self-care projects. The self-care whip that I most gravitate toward, it's what I think brings me the most comfort, is the shawl. You might be thinking, Chelsea, you live in Florida. Why do you make shawls? Well, first of all, because they're amazing. Sometimes I don't want to put on a sweater, but if I'm going out and the temperature is going to drop from 80 degrees to 60 degrees, which yes, in Florida, that is cold, you just want a little something, shawl to the rescue. You're at the beach all day, weather cools down, you're going to have a beach bonfire. You might need a little something to toss over your shoulders, shawl. And my absolute favorite way to wear a shawl during a hot day in Florida, sarong. Sarong. I love wearing shawls around my hips as a sexy sarong. I think it's so beautiful. All that lace work or color work or stitch detailing looks fantastic on my ass. And it's so cool to be able to wear a handmade at the pool or at the beach if you're not into making bikinis. I am, and sometimes I pair my handmade bikinis with a handmade shawl. But it's a great way to incorporate your handmaids in the summer. So if you are someone who loves making shawls, but you're like, I never get to wear them in the summer, just saying, it'll look great on your ass. As much as the product, the finished result is amazing with shawls, I actually find the most joy and comfort in the creation of them. There's just something about putting that love or that sadness or any emotion into those stitches and then being able to wrap yourself up in it. I think it's pretty awesome and pretty magical. I have created on Ravelry, it's a Ravelry bundle, and there are 20 patterns that I have chosen. These are not maybe, well, I think they're all pretty great, but I'm not saying they're the best or they have any certain qualities. They're just 20 that I love, that I think are great, and I think any of them would make a great self-care project. They do vary in that sometimes when I want a self-care project, I want something completely mindless that I can just stitch on and I don't have to think a lot about. There are some of those in there. Other times I want a project that makes me focus a bit more so that I can take my mind off the horrible shit in the world and I can focus it on a project and it keeps me engaged. And sometimes I want a combination of both. And I think in this bundle, you will find really simple, mindless projects. You'll find very detailed and the need to focus projects. And then you'll find some shawls that have sections of both throughout the pattern. So this bundle is on Ravelry. I have the link in the description below. You can click on it and you'll see all 20. But I want to show you a couple of the ones that are included that I have made, and then also talk about 3 that I'm planning to cast on. Okay, the first one. Did you like that little chuckle there? This is the Containing Multitudes shawl by Anne Claiborne Knits. I'm gonna pop up, I have some pictures from whenever I first finished this. I'll pop a couple of them in. But this was a test knit that I did several years ago. This shawl is honestly incredible. It's often a shawl that I pack for traveling because when I travel, if I'm packing like in a carry-on, I'll often do black and pink. Those are just my 2 travel colors because I can mix and match so many things. And this is one of the shawls that tends to come with me. I love shawls on an airplane. It can be a pillow. It can be a blanket. I've turned this into a skirt many times and actually like worn it out to dinner and with high heels and stuff because the shawl is so large. You can get some really fun wrapping done on the skirt. And there is just so much in this shawl. This is one of those that's going to give you the mix of relaxing and focused. But there is beautiful lace work, easy garter stitch rows, mosaic knitting. This was my first time doing mosaic knitting and I absolutely loved it. More lace work. It was just a really wonderful project and I love the finished result. Anytime I wear this, I get compliments on it. People ask, oh my gosh, what pattern is that? If they're a maker, and if they're not, you know, where did you get that? And it's, I made it. So this was a project that I had on my needles for a while. It does take a while to complete, but sometimes that's what you need. You need that project that you can always be reaching for, you know, when you need a minute, when you need to focus, when you need to zone out, when you need things. And I think it's comforting sometimes to have those projects that stay on our needles for months and months or years. Just me. The next shawl is the Faded Morning Shawl by Lindsay of the Chesapeake Needle. This shawl I had in my queue for so long. It's just so gorgeous. I've known I needed to make this for a long while before I actually picked it up. Let me pop in a couple pictures here. And this is one of the ones that I wear as a sarong a lot. I used the Little Wolf Knits yarn. This is my favorite colorway of hers. It's Oogie Boogie. And then the other colorway that has little pops of Oogie Boogie in it is called Dobby is a Free Elf. And I just felt like these colors went so beautifully together. This feels so bright and Florida-y and also a little springy, I think. But this too, it's not detailed. I think this is beautifully detailed, but it's not like you need to focus as much as that Containing Multitude shawl, because I do feel like the rows for the diamonds are relatively easy to memorize, but you do need some concentration. But then you have lots of rows of garter stitch in between. There's a beautiful fade that occurs in the project. And yeah, it's lovely. I really enjoyed making this. Even though this shawl is smaller than the other, because it wasn't a test, this was on my needles for almost 2 years. Yep, almost 2 years, and I am not ashamed. I am not ashamed. I think that's actually awesome that I had a project that took me through so many things. There are so many memories in this shawl, and I have no shame that it took me that long to make it, because it's pretty awesome and it was worth it. And the last shawl I want to show you, talk about a project having memories. This is my Iqaluit shawl by the Petite Knitter. Look at the beautiful, I hope that these are showing up, at these beautiful stitches. Everything just done with knits and pearls, this gorgeous texture. I have long loved this shawl, have known I wanted to make it. I feel like all of them, it takes me a while to actually cast them on. But this shawl went with me to Ecuador. My husband and I traveled there for our 5th anniversary. We travel with the letters of the alphabet, so each anniversary we follow the letter of the alphabet. But this was the only project I took with me, and I made so many friends by working on this. People are like, oh, I'm a knitter too. One of the girls that we were hiking with, she actually, we became Instagram friends, and she now tests for me on occasion. So hi, Jess, if you're out there. A lot of the hostels that we stayed at, especially when hiking, they had like the house staff that was cooking there. And some of the wonderful ladies would come out and they were asking me what I was working. And a couple of them really liked some of the stitches. They were like writing down how I was explaining to do some of the chevrons and things like that. It was really cool. But this shawl was also what I was working on when my great-grandma passed away, when my Grammy Kay passed away. But she had seen me working on it. And I remember her telling me, she was just like, I'm just so proud of you. Look how amazing this is. And you're making it. She had a lot of trouble distinguishing her left from her right. So she never felt comfortable doing lace work. She felt like she always flubbed it up. So when I started doing lace work and stitches and reading charts, she told me once, she's like, you've surpassed me. I did not. She was so amazing at all of her fiber arts, and she taught me all of that. So it was really special though for her to have seen this. I have a picture of her like draped with the whip on because she's like, look how pretty, take a picture. And I did. But this was the last thing that she saw me working on before she passed away. So it also is very special to me because of that. I wear the hell out of this shawl too, because pink is my favorite color. It's what a lot of my handmade wardrobe is. This tends to go with a lot. And I feel like with the delicate stitches, it has an elegance to it. So I've worn this with some pretty fancy dresses. This has been the shawl that I wear for the evening to take with me. It's gone to lots of weddings. Oh, I don't think I popped in any pictures. I actually have a picture of me wearing this shawl with my rehearsal dinner dress. Obviously, I made it long after my rehearsal dinner, but I popped that dress on a couple years ago. I don't know if it would fit now, which is okay, but I put it on and I loved the look. So if you are a bride and you are looking for a shawl to put memories in, this is a very soothing pattern. Again, there's going to be sections that are completely mindless and then sections you just need to memorize, like the 1 row repeat, but they're all pretty easy. I was able to work on this on a bus in the Andes Mountains while I was stressing about whether we would die or not. So, the Aaaaaaand shawl by the Petite Knitter. And I do want to share with you, I've shown this before and it's been on Instagram, but it's not, Ashley doesn't have it on Ravelry right now, which is the only reason it's not in that project pile. But I do want to show you the shawl I'm working on right now. This is the Tendril Wrap by Montana Crochet. It is in its whip form, and I'm calling this like chaos on the hips because I do plan to use this as a sarong, and all the colors go together. Absolutely. This was the Blooms collection that she had, and these colors are just stunning. They are absolutely stunning. But there was definitely ways that I could have put this yarn, organized it together to create fades, to create something a bit more cohesive. But I was really stressed out on our anniversary. I wasn't stressed out. I wanted to not be stressed out. And it felt too overwhelming to decide the colors. So my husband and I played Russian roulette, where he would just pick a color. He'd close his eyes and pick a color. And we have continued that. So you can see some of the color changes are a bit abrupt because it's very random. It's just a random drawing of what color comes next. And I have embraced the madness. I think it's pretty epic. I love these puff stitches. I'm really loving how the shawl is coming together, the growth of it here. I think it's gonna make a really like cheeky, sexy sarong. I have, how many more colors? The one that I'm working on, plus 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so there's 5 colors left, 5 mini skeins left, plus the one that I'm working on. So it will be getting a bit bigger. I'm hoping that it's gonna block out a little larger, but it's not quite as large as I thought in my mind. I did not look at schematics. This was just the mental image that I had in my mind. So I think it is going to be a rather cheeky little sarong, but I think it's gonna be really cute. And if you need some mindless crochet stitches, this is brilliant. 2 rows, easy peasy to remember. And I have a lot of memories of our time in Jupiter in this shawl. So Tendril Wrap by Montana Crochet. Now just very quickly, I wanna mention 3 that I'm planning on casting on soon. It might be tomorrow, it might be in a month, and it might be next year. I don't know, but these are 3 from the list of the 20 that's available in my Ravelry bundle. They're not my patterns when I say they're available. It's just part of the Ravelry bundle that I think I'll be casting on. The first, this is the Querencia by Patricia Leafield. I'm gonna pop in a picture here. How gorgeous is that? I want it in those exact colors. I feel like maybe a slightly like pinkier, greenier, but it already has those colors in it, and that is so beautiful. It kind of feels like desert cactus to me. Like, I don't know, like a I want to be a cowgirl on a horse with that draped over me. It's just so beautiful. It looks so cozy and light and drapey, and I want it. And those stitches look very soothing, the wave stitches that it has. That looks like something that would really bring me a lot of joy and comfort to make. Then this is probably one that will be cast on this year. I have a plan in mind for it, but it is the Juniper Shawl by White Owl Crochet. I'm gonna pop in a picture. That thing is massive and stunning. It's poetic. I am obsessed. I have been obsessed since Molly put it out there. It's been saved. I think I even bought the pattern. If I didn't, I will be buying it soon. But it is gorgeous and it feels witchy to me. So you might get an idea of when I'm planning on casting it on. But yeah, this needs to be a project on my needles. It's not going to be something that I rush myself to finish. I bet that one will be on the needles for a while. But surprisingly, I think it's going to work up a little quicker than I think, because when I looked at it, I was like, oh, that looks like maybe a DK, maybe a sport. It's bulky. That is a bulky weight shawl. So it is large, but I think it's going to work up pretty quickly, or at least as quickly as it can for a project that size. I can totally see myself wrapped up in this, like by a fire, reading a book. We don't really have fires here in Florida unless they're bonfires. But when I go home and I visit my friends and family in Beaver County, I could see that. I could see this traveling with me. I could see this being on the beach, like as a beach blanket that I use and then curl up with. I know you're probably aghast that I would put it in the sand. All my projects get sandy. But this just looks like a hug of love. And I want to infuse magic into every stitch with that one. So that one's coming soon. And then lastly, I had to include, there's many crochet patterns in that bundle, but this one, I think my jaw dropped the first time I saw it. I think it was, I might be speaking out of turn here, but I was pretty sure Emma's Yarn did a collaboration with it, or they kitted it, and that's where I first saw it. Maybe not. But it is so colorful and so stunning. This is the Milkweed Leaf Shawl by Brianna K Designs. I'll pop it up here. Brianna K Designs is based out of Orlando also. I'm so excited about that. I hope maybe one day I get to run into her. This shawl, it's so cool. It is so cool. It's airy and light and gorgeous. It feels very like boho elegant. I don't know. I love it. And I would love to make it in bright, bright colors like that. I feel like this would be really good to use with your advents. If you have a bunch of advent minis, I think this would be a really fun project to use with that too. Of course, I will be adding fringe. It looks amazing. That will be a great one to wear as a sarong or as something to drape over. I love it. But yeah, take a look at that list. Let me know if any seem like something you want to cast on. If you have any suggestions for me to add to that bundle for a shawl that really feels like a self-care project or a mental health project to you. And also let me know, what is your self-care mental health project? If it's not shawls, is it a different kind of project? Let me know in the comments. All right, and for our last section today, as promised, this is Q&A with Mr. Tipsy. Back in early April, when it was my husband and my 10-year anniversary, I put out Instagram posts, Instagram stories, and a post here on YouTube asking what questions you have for Steven, or for me and Steven, to answer about married life or our lives together. I wrote them all down and brought them with us to the beach. One of the mornings that we went for sunrise, we enjoyed the sunrise, and then I got us all set up and I asked Steven all the questions. It was really fun. He is such a good sport. There were a couple times he has asked me to like edit certain things out because he's like, I can't say that on YouTube. I'm like, why? I would. But some of the things may be edited for everybody's consent and comfort. I hope you enjoy the Q&A with Mr. Tipsy. I'll put that in now. Oh, hey, y'all. as promised, we are going to do, get the hair off me there, a Q&A with Steven, aka Mr. Tipsy, all about, well, some
me.
of the questions are all over, so
Oh.
married life and you and everything else.
Okay.
So let's start with, how did we meet, Steven?
We met in college. Just kind of had a bunch of mutual friends, and I got to know her kind of at school. Yeah, and she doesn't remember that. She doesn't really remember me from school. But she knew who I was, apparently, because my junior year, your sophomore year?
My sophomore year, yeah.
Spring break, we both were in Europe. You were visiting I was visiting my sister. You were backpacking around, and we both flew out of the Charles de Gaulle airport on the same day. And I'm walking around, and all of a sudden I just hear this scream, "Scuba Steve!"
It was me.
It was you. You and a handful of your friends that were hanging out. And so we hung out, had some wine, spent the flight together. And then you had a boyfriend, so I didn't talk to you for another year or so.
But then
I moved down to DC. And a couple of my other friends moved down shortly thereafter, and I'm hanging out. I introduced my one friend from Pittsburgh. I introduced her to my roommate, who was also Mercier's, and they hit it off, and they kind of sort of pseudo dating ish. It was
on and off for 10 years.
Yeah. But we start chatting. I find out she was friends with Chelsea, her during our senior year, and I tell her the story about how we met and everything. And so then my friend Ange goes and calls Chelsea. She's like, "Oh, I gotta tell you about this guy that I'm sort of seeing." And she's like, "Oh, you know his roommate?"
And she tells me it was Steve.
Yep.
I started freaking out because I was like, oh my God, I had such a crush on that guy. And she goes, he just told me he had a crush on you too. So Ange conspired to bring Steven up to back to school for alumni weekend.
Yep.
And we've been together ever since.
Yep.
Oh. It's not that I didn't remember. He seems to think we hung out before we did. We didn't. We didn't hang out. Maybe our friend groups did, but
Yeah, I was in your apartment a couple times with friends groups hanging out.
Yeah, but I was very nerdy in school. I'm wondering because I didn't always hang out with Denora and Jill's friends.
Right.
Right, so I could have been doing homework.
Oh,
I could have been reading. I could have been at the gym. I was not!
You're always the life of the party, baby. Especially in college.
I think he's lying. Yeah, that's how we met. It's adorable. Okay. Steven, what do you do for work?
Things with computers. I work in cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity.
Yeah.
He's super smarty pants.
Not really. Push buttons.
I think he's a super smarty pants. He fixes all my problems. You push all my buttons.
I do push all your buttons.
In the best of ways. What is your favorite hobby?
Probably torn. Before we moved down to Florida, I said skiing and golf. Don't do much skiing anymore, but golf is definitely one of my favorite ones. Gonna go golfing this afternoon.
Yeah, in West Palm Beach.
It's supposed to be one of the
I am
coolest
not.
par threes.
I'm gonna go drinking in West Palm Beach.
Yeah. Yeah, we're both gonna enjoy our own hobbies separately.
I'm bringing my yarn and getting booze. Steve's bringing his clubs and going golfing, and we're gonna have separate hobbies but happy on our day today. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
But what's your other hobby?
I enjoy pretending like I'm a woodworker. Got some tools, build things.
He doesn't pretend he's a woodworker. He's really good at woodworking. You've built me so many things.
Yeah, they're mostly functional. It's not fine craftsmanship dovetail hand.
Functional is still great. He's made me both of the desks in my craft room were created by him, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
The shelving,
Shelves.
you put up all my shelving, and the rope shelving, if you've seen my office tour that I've done on here, That was all done by him.
Yeah.
You've made me multiple things to like hold my crochet hooks.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I made our world map.
Yeah. Oh my God, the world map is amazing. Yeah, you're real good, baby.
Thanks.
Okay. Other questions for Steven. This was a question that was asked multiple times, and it does make me cackle. Steven, have you ever done a yarny craft / would you ever want to?
I would never want to.
He would never want to because he's not allowed. He's not allowed. He is good at every fucking thing he does. And yarning, knitting and crochet is the thing I'm good at. So if he were to pick up a hook and a needle and be better at it than me, I just don't think my fragile ego could take it.
Yeah.
No, you're just not allowed.
Not allowed.
But it's funny, even though he doesn't do it, this is how fucking good he is. He's like picked up on like, you can tell stockinette from garter.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can quite read stitches, but he's helped me enough with my patterns where like I'm explaining certain things that you kind of get the gist of some stuff.
Maybe if I did it, I would get it. But yeah, when you're pointing out like the stitches, here's a stitch, here's a stitch, it looks like all a mess to me. Like I'm like, I don't know.
Phew, good. Keep it all a mess in your head, Steven.
I'm gonna get into macrame though.
Oh, he's gonna get macrame hanger. Oh, the plant hanger.
Plant hanger that's been sitting there for
which that I'm
6
okay
years.
with because I love macrame fringe on shawls, on dresses, but I am really bad at it and I don't like doing it. So if you can get real good at that, you can macrame all my fringe, baby.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, you can do it. Macrame my fringe. I'll make it worth your while.
Oh, okay.
Now he'll do it. Okay. Other questions? What are some of your favorite moments from our marriage?
From our marriage. I mean, obviously our anniversary trips have been fun. I feel like probably one of my favorite was our Tipsy dinner on the beach at Bonita Springs. It was our Gulf Coast trip north of Naples. We got to-go dinner. Sat on the beach watching sunset.
That was really fun.
Tipsy.
We did. So we brought a bottle, 2 bottles. I don't know what we did.
Just a bottle.
Yeah, but we ate dinner there, and then the sun went down, and we just kept talking and talking and talking. Yeah, and then we both had to pee so bad, and there were no bathrooms, so we were just peeing in like the sea grapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Wasn't the first time anybody's done that.
No, never.
Won't be the last.
Okay. We'll leave it there. We have more questions to get through. Okay. Okay, that one was kind of the same. Has he ever knitted or crocheted? Does he have a creative outlet? Oh, do we both work outside the home? And what do you both do? If so, you said what your job is.
Work outside
but
the
we
home.
both work from home, which is kind of awesome. I think it took a little bit of an adjustment period at first, but now it's really nice. Like, he has his office, I have mine. Like, we'll often be able to either like have lunch at similar times or just take breaks and hang out with each other.
I feel like there are some days though where I don't see you.
Yeah,
like
there is.
Evening.
It's like we're actually working in different places.
Yeah.
But I think it isn't like, especially if I'm having a hard day or you are, you know, you can come in. Hey, like, can I vent for a second? It's nice. Sometimes we schedule lunch hour fun.
Yeah. We do.
And yeah, like if we need to like run an errand together or something in the middle of the day, I don't know. I just feel like it's so nice and flexible and awesome. So yeah, that's what we do. Oh, and what do I do outside the home? Or nothing. This is Knitting Tipsy is my job. Oh, I love this one.
Yeah.
Can Steven recall the exact moment or situation when he knew that I was the one for him above all others? And I did not pay her to ask this question.
Yeah.
But I just feel like that's so sweet.
No, not like a particular.
It's the most boring answer ever. Pick one.
I feel like you just grew on me.
That's not true. What you told me the other night.
I don't know. Was it appropriate for that?
You said that after I told you I loved you, and I got. You said that's whenever you knew. I thought.
Oh, yeah, that. Yeah. No, you pulled out the L word pretty early on.
I did.
I had a problem with it. I didn't say it very easily.
I said it very easily.
Yeah, that's because I'm so lovable.
You are so lovable.
Yeah.
No, I kind of word vomited it at him. Like.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I can't believe I just told him that. Because I'd been thinking it. Well, I'd been thinking it from like the first weekend that we had.
Mm-hmm.
I fall in love pretty easily, but I also stay in love.
Yeah.
Because you're so awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I said it to him and he told me thank you.
Yeah.
He said thank you. And I was like,
appreciate it.
So I drove back. It was still my senior year at Mercyhurst. And Steve was living in DC. It's a 6-hour drive. So I drove back, and the whole time I'm just berating myself. Like, why would you tell him that you haven't been dating very long? And whenever I got back and I texted him like, hey, I made it, he called me. And he told me he loved me too. On the phone.
On the phone.
But still, it was better late than never that day, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you love me.
I do.
I grew on him even more.
Yep.
Okay. Did you both decide before meeting that you wanted to be dinkwads? Dual income, no kids with a dog.
No, not really. I had pretty much been set on no kids for a long time.
I went through a couple little periods where I wasn't sure. Like, I was never a full yes, I want kids. But I was just kind of like, I wanted the option.
Yeah, there was a challenging weekend in our relationship relatively early on.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, I don't want them. It's like, I kind of do, I don't know.
I was like, I don't think I do, but like I definitely wanted the option, and having somebody who was like a hard no, I was like, I don't know about this. But then I really thought about it, I'm like, girl, you have not wanted kids since you were 16.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was, now
it that one out early on.
And now it's hilarious because it's a hard no for both of us for no babies. No babies, but we love our four-legged baby.
Four-legged babies, yeah.
Four-legged babies are
nieces
fine.
and nephews that are fun to see for a little bit.
They are. You get like your little kid fix where it's like, oh my God, they're so adorable. And then they like pick their nose, or like there's a blowout, or, you know, they just, as little kids do, can be a little annoying. I mean, I can be a little annoying. Everybody can be a little annoying.
Right.
But then we send them back to their parents.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, yay, we did good.
Yeah.
It's fabulous. We're very happy with our dinkwad life. Do you ever get mad, not annoyed or frustrated, everyone does, but mad and have shouting matches?
No.
No, we don't. I think if Steve shouted at me, if he yelled at me, I would cry and not be able to forgive him for a while.
Yeah. You get loud, but like happy loud.
Oh yeah, like I don't
know if I've ever really gotten loud.
I don't think I've ever yelled at you. Like, I think we've had disagreements, arguments, quote unquote fights. Yeah. But like we're not screamers at each other. My parents were screamers at each other. I hated it. Like, I would go sit in a corner and rock myself.
Yeah.
Your parents weren't screamers, I would think.
No, I'm sure they yelled at JJ a couple times because JJ was JJ
Steven's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, when we fight, usually I had, like, if I'm upset with Steven, for a long time in our marriage, I didn't tell him because that's what I was taught growing up. You just keep everything bottled up until you explode. Only I just didn't explode. I like melted into a puddle of tears. So yeah, we finally talked about we needed better communication, and it wasn't fair that I would be upset with Steve for something he didn't know about. But I still have a hard time with confrontation. So our technique was, if I was ever upset, I could write him either like a long text or email and send it to him. Gives him processing time, and I can hide in a room, and then he'll like respond back at first, and then whenever I feel ready, we could talk in person. sometimes he would just be in the next room doing it, and yeah, that was really helpful for us because of my issues.
Well,
yeah.
Still does.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes now I'll just hand it to him. Like, I'll sit next to him and be like, just read this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I'm getting better and I can bring it up myself. I might have notes to keep because I get nervous and get flustered. So I write my notes to keep me on point if we need to have like a discussion. But sometimes the discussions aren't even fights. They're just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Communication.
Mm-hmm.
It's just communication. Pretty fucking healthy, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay. What chores, or are there any chores that you absolutely hate and you try to delegate to your significant other?
No.
That's not what he said earlier.
I remember what I said earlier. That wasn't appropriate for this.
I said the trash. I hate taking out the trash. And then he told me his, and I cracked up.
Yeah.
It's,
well,
I don't consider it a chore at all.
Yeah. But no, I don't, nothing. But we've settled into our own chores as far as, you know, what we do to keep the house and everything going.
But we just kind of do them.
Yeah. Yeah. There's.
And you help me out with mine a lot whenever I'm like feeling funky and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing I really hate doing that.
I really hate cleaning the toilet, but I also don't make him do it. So that's just my least favorite of like those chores. Oh, and for some reason, unloading the dishwasher.
Oh yeah, neither of us like doing.
Nobody
that.
likes it, but whoever, like, we just do it. Yeah.
Whoever notices the sink's full of all the other dishes.
I feel like I don't mind cleaning dishes that are in the sink, like, because they're not the ones that go in the dishwasher. And I don't mind putting dishes into the dishwasher, but for some fucking reason, when all of those dishes, and then you have the, because you're like, oh, I don't want to do it right now, so you let the other dishes pile up. I don't like emptying the dishwasher.
Yeah. I'm trying to run it more frequently. I don't know if you've noticed it, so it's less of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, see if that works.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Were there any more? Oh, okay. There's one from your mom and one couple from your sister.
Okay.
The one from your mom. When do we plan to move back to Pittsburgh?
Maybe after Chelsea passes away.
Well, that's fucking morbid, you asshole.
I'm just saying, like, you're never gonna move further north than Orlando.
That's true.
So, like, if there's any chance of it happening, that's...
Well, great. I'm so excited that you're planning for my demise.
No, I'm not planning for it. If I was planning for it, I'd probably say I'd move out to, like, the mountains or something.
So glad we're doing this.
Yeah. Happy anniversary.
Tracy would like to know, do we have any new trips to Montreal anytime soon?
No.
We do not, Tracy.
Yeah.
We're not opposed to it. We just do not. And for both of us in our respective fields and hobbies, how do we go about learning to do something new? Steve is a YouTuber.
I am a YouTuber. Yeah.
He's a researcher and a YouTuber.
Yeah. I feel like most of my YouTube stuff isn't like... I mean, sometimes it is, like, when something breaks around the house or I'm trying to, like, fix this or look on the car. But, yeah, I don't know. I just like watching random woodworking videos that I'm probably never going to use the techniques or anything.
Or for, like, I feel like the lawn a lot. I was so impressed with how much research he did into, like, our grass and different techniques for... You were always watching something with that.
Yeah, so growing up in Pittsburgh, like, you just put, like, grass seed down and it seemed like...
And you have grass.
Like, it was, like... My family had, like, True Green or something for a couple years, but, like, other than that, me or JJ or my dad just cut the grass, and, like, that's all we did, and it was
there was no lawn maintenance, really.
Yeah, it's a battle down in Florida. So, yeah, there's a guy...
To get your grass to grow.
The Lawn Care Nut on YouTube, if anybody's in Florida trying to figure out how to maintain their lawn. He lives over in, like, Tampa or something like that, so it's very Florida-centric, and, yeah, that was a challenge. Considering giving it up, hiring a lawn service again, but yeah, we'll see.
If you could see how far our backyard is, well, and our front yard has come, the people who had the house before us just didn't do any sort, like, it was brown, it was dead, there was a lot of area that there just wasn't any grass or weeds or anything.
Oh, too many trees, too much shade.
Yeah, But now we have, if you've ever seen my videos, we have a beautiful, here, I'm gonna like pop in a video if I can when I get home, if I remember, of our outdoor tropical garden, and the front yard is so lush and so green, and we have flowers.
Lou
and
with the glue always compliments it on.
Yes, our neighbor Lou. And yeah, it just, he's done such a great job, and it's all through his research and YouTubing and tenacity.
YouTube you.
And general smarty pantsness. I, on the other hand, tend to learn new things with much frustration because I don't do the research. I'll often give it a try first, and then I do like look things up. But yeah, I wish I were more like Steve. We all wish we were more like Steve, because I don't have a lot of patience. If it's something like I'm really excited about, I will like do, but if it's something like I have to do, like the lawn care would be something I wouldn't have been excited about. I would have hired a service. But yeah, I kind of just try it and then get frustrated.
I feel like that's more on the technology thing, where you just try like your Excel finance sheets, you're like, oh, let me do it, and it doesn't work, and you don't want to try and figure out why. Or
I watched her whole tutorial though.
Yeah, but I feel like you need to watch more just general Excel kind of stuff to understand what's going on there. But I feel like with like knitting and everything, like you go and like,
oh yeah, if I don't know a technique or something, I'm happy to watch a video and read and stuff. And with bikini design, I sat in Target with a tape measure and crotch gussets, trying to figure out whose hoo-ha needs more width and whose needs less.
Yeah, I feel like you just research the things you like and just ignore the things you don't.
Yep. That's how it works.
Yep.
Okay, I think there's only one more question. Oh, nope. We have 2 more questions.
2 more.
Okay. This person's son will be graduating from the University of Pittsburgh this month.
Ooh.
He landed a great job, so he's going to stay in Pittsburgh. Congratulations, Soap Socks. Where did we meet in Pittsburgh? Mercyhurst. Did we attend the same university? Yes. Mercyhurst University.
College at the time.
Yeah, it was Mercyhurst College, but now it's been Mercyhurst University for a while now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not when we were there. Okay, and then the last question was, do we ever read together? And I'm assuming that they mean smut.
Not together. Like
we've listened.
Yeah, we've listened to some of them, but you mostly replay me the things. I'm not reading the books. We're not doing like book club. And
yeah, we don't like. Well, there was the one book that I was like, oh, you should read. It was the one with all the role plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
So like, I've told him some books that I think he would like. I think he's only read one of them. It was a shorter story.
Yeah.
But we have listened, and I think we would do that again, especially for longer car rides. Oh, yeah. Non-smut related, but we also listened to, what was the one that's like a graphic novel?
The Sandman.
Yeah. We had been listening to that on another car ride and hadn't finished it. So in the evenings, like at dinner time, we put it on and listened to it, and that was great. I love audiobooks, but you know, sometimes I just earmark certain passages that I think he should read.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we read those together. But anyways, thank you so much for answering some questions.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. And thank y'all so much for submitting questions. If you have any others that you want me to try to get him to answer, you can pop them into the comments of the video. It is so sunny. Let me give you guys a view.
Yeah, it's real bright.
Yeah. We've been here since sunrise. And it's just lovely. I'm gonna see if Steven will get me coffee here in a little bit. He hasn't fed me or given me coffee yet.
Not yet. It's too early.
Anyways, bye y'all.
Bye.
And that wraps up episode 3 of the Knitting Tipsy vlog or podcast. Again, I don't know what it is. Please let me know if you know what I should be saying here. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you for allowing me to share a lot of my life and my grief. For anybody who has gone through pet loss or is currently going through it, my heart, my soul, it just goes out to you, because this is This is really hard. And I appreciate y'all being here to support me and to watch these videos and just love me through it, I guess. As always, if you liked this video, please feel free to share it with a friend, give it a like, write a comment. And if you aren't subscribed, I would so appreciate it if you would. One of my goals this year is monetization on YouTube, and we are slowly creeping our way up there. I love the community that I'm building here on YouTube, so I would really appreciate it. Anyways, y'all have a great week and happy yarning. Cheers.